What's going on? What's going on, guys? This is your man, Real Deal, Steele, coming to you live this Thursday night, going up on a Thursday. What is going on? Headed towards the weekend, feeling all right, out of sight. Got a great show lined up for you tonight. Got a lot of interesting things to talk about, some pertinent stuff to talk about, and of course, always some very amusing things to talk about. But in the context of everything we do here, it's all amusing, isn't it, folks? You're watching Steele Live. I'm Steele. Great to have you with us tonight. Before we get started, if you could just smash that like button. Takes a split second of your time. Doesn't cost you a dime. Number one thing you can do to help a channel like this, keep ascending and reaching more people. Work through those tricky YouTube algorithms. Also, if you're brand new here, I'd like to personally welcome you. Feel free to subscribe. Join our cool little community here. Honestly, I think we've got the coolest community in all the general crypto-centric, whatever kind of field you want to call it. We've got just an awesome, super supportive, super positive community, and we'd love to have you ascend with us from to the moon, to Mars, and maybe even Uranus. I'm going to leave that call up to you guys. Lastly, if you feel compelled to super chat anywhere throughout the duration of this broadcast, that's obviously hugely appreciated for all the time and efforts put in. Feel free to ask myself or my esteemed colleague above whatever questions, comments you'd like. We will field those to the best of our ability. Without any further ado, I would like to welcome my co-host, Dogecoin millionaire, Nick Balls. How you feeling, Nick?
Pretty good, Steven. Well, all things considered, pretty all right.
Yeah, Nick had an incredibly adventurous day, and I put that's stated very mildly. We will get to that momentarily. We're going to crack into a few market things first, but Nick's got a absolutely wild story lined up for you guys of what happened to him today. It's just surreal. I mean, I still am kind of trying to put it together, just digest everything that went down with him today. So anyway, yeah, we are just glad you're safe, guys. Glad you're safe, guys. So welcome, Jeff Layfield, Hycenix, welcome. Doodle Doo, Zombie Doge Army, Hector the Dude, Bang Stun, Hunter Wayne, good to see you. Mama Crypto, of course. Northwoods Peachtree, Low Roller Scratcher, Kyle, and the list goes on. King Cobra, of course. Great to see you guys. We're just getting started, so many more people will roll in as we go on. So here we are, definitely some retracement today, right, Nick? We're riding Bitcoin just a bit under 63,000. This is pretty typical to be expected. This is nothing out of the ordinary of what we were talking about, what was likely going to occur yesterday and the day before. But I don't think it's going to be that long. I don't think it's going to be that long before not only Bitcoin runs up again, but everything preceding it as well, and Ethereum. And I think that we are about to break into what is typically described as an altcoin bull run, if you will, which I think is going to affect everything from Ethereum to a lot of DeFi projects and things like that. What do you say? What's going on right now?
Yeah, I would pretty much agree. I think there was somebody in the chat that mentioned that there was a pretty big dip on Binance's Bitcoin charts today, which it's funny. I run TradingView and I use Binance's charts, but I didn't see that. Apparently, Bitcoin dipped to $8,000 today.
Yeah.
It's not real. It's not like you could have bought a Bitcoin for that price. It's just one of these technical glitches that happens. Yeah. So that was the biggest headline today, Bitcoin crashes to 8,000. Well, not really. If you can't buy it, it doesn't really count. But it was one gigantic, red candle.
Yeah.
I never ended up actually seeing it. Well, I was preoccupied today anyway, not like I could have seen it no matter, whatever. But you know what? I think Miles, our buddy Miles G, talked about this kind of the best. He was like, you know what? After an all-time high, expect a little retracement. That is completely healthy. The market is really healthy right now. Everything looks great. I mean, to me, everything looks great, and I think you're right. I think that the money will pour into the alts. I think that'll happen, shortly after Bitcoin really finds its all-time high. I think it's gonna be a few months.
I agree. And just so you guys know, members, I will be doing a special breakout session directly after this show tonight to talk about some of the details and recommendations and projects I've been looking in, so you can be ready for when the altcoin season is really starts picking up legs, which I don't think it's going to be too long away. And also, just so you guys know, we are going to the rest of this show, we are going to cover more deeply into altcoin season incoming. The usual top three, in our opinion: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, XRP, these kind of things. The general health of the market and what we can expect to see over the next couple months. And then also I'm going to get into some NFT talk. Particularly, I want to break out, and I'm going to talk about this just in a little bit later, Jungle Freaks Gone Wild. It's a NFT project I'd been keeping a very close eye on. Those of you who have been members, who have been joining me in my members-only streams, will be familiar with this project. It's one I gave you guys a heads up on. I think a couple of you acted on getting in on it, and there's a lot going on with Jungle Freaks, and so I will be talking about that. We'll be talking about that in just a little bit, as well as a few other NFT projects and markers to look for, in my opinion. Josh Randell disavows coming in strong, starting things off with a nice $10 super chat. The real Nick Balls can bench a black hole FTW. I love you, chat. Can bench a black hole.
Infinite density.
Infinite density.
Infinite mass.
Yeah, I mean, Nick is Nick is a seasoned fitness trainer, bodybuilder. So those of you who are
just got back
here,
into benching, incline benching. So if this gives you any idea of how strong I am, I just recently started incline pressing 315. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the gym, there's those big plates that go on the bar. They're the big round ones. They're 45 pounds. Yeah. 315 pounds is 6 of those plates. So 3 on each side.
Well, being red-blooded men, we are certainly not opposed to big round ones for sure. Sliding Edge coming in with $2 super chat. Have you ever grasped on how to pronounce David's last name? Is it Gostein?
Gostein.
Yeah, I've always assumed it as Gostein. Gostein be shilling extra hard in the script run. Yeah, he's a character, man. I haven't talked to Dave in a while. We had him on the show. Yeah, we had him on the show one night, and he was just balling out of control. And he laid down a bunch of super chats like he was just at a strip club, man. While he was on the air with me, it was really a funny show. But we kind of fell out of touch. It'd be kind of fun to reconnect with them, maybe have them in the mix one of these nights soon. It's funny, a funny observation, Sliding Edge. So why don't you tell us a little bit on how your day went today, Nick? I started, when I woke up this morning, I started reading these tweets coming in by you, and I just almost couldn't believe what I was reading. I didn't know if you were just joking around or if these were legit, and then... So why don't you just give us a little rundown on what transpired?
So to start my day off, Stephen, I woke up at 5 a.m. My body sometimes does this. I'll just wake up randomly. I'll get 4 or 5 hours of sleep, and then that'll be it, and I'm done. So I woke up at 5 o'clock.
Same.
And I was just ready to go. And I was like, okay, cool. I got all this cool stuff to do. It's whatever. I'll get up and start getting my errands done. I had to go drop off my laundry, my sheets and bedding and stuff, and so I went to go do that. I come back home, and I live in a big, gigantic, huge condo building. There's, I don't know, 300-400 units in this building, and on my way in, a guy gets in the elevator with me, and I just happened to call my girlfriend at the time to tell her I was home. And this guy was just freaking out, and he was being really loud. And normally I wouldn't call her in the elevator, but she, I just so happened to at the time. And I asked the guy what floor he's going to, and I pressed my floor, and he's like, "Oh, I'm going there. I was like, "Okay, all right, I hit it for you. So I don't know what you want me to do." Get off the elevator, and I didn't consciously realize this because I'm not, it's first thing in the morning. I'm not paying attention. He's following me down my hall. Not close or anything. He was just walking behind me. Didn't even think about it. So I get in my condo, and I look out the window, and there are 4 squad cars parked right down the street, and there's nothing there. I mean, this is like a street with nothing on it. Like, that is really strange. This is really, really weird. I don't understand why there would be that many cops this time in the morning. Seems strange. Then I get an email from from my building saying the building is on lockdown. Do not leave your house. Shut your doors. Lock your doors. I was like, okay, something is going on here. Then all of the squad cars like reassemble and form like a barricade around all the entrances and exits of my building, because my building's like tiered, so there's different wings and whatnot. So they basically form this like grid around my building. Now I'm starting to get a little freaked out. Now I'm starting to like, okay, what's happening? And as the morning kind of moves on, we get news reports. Now we're watching the news. What had happened was, 3 gentlemen decided it would be a wonderful idea to rob the 7-Eleven, which is right downstairs from my house, first thing in the morning.
In broad daylight.
Broad daylight. Yeah, like 9 a.m., 10 a.m. And so they did. And of course, we're in a, by the way, I'm in a suburb. I'm not in the city of Chicago. I'm outside of the city of Chicago. I'm in a very, very well-policed neighborhood. And they were immediately caught. Immediately. Except they basically walked out of the 7-Eleven and saw the police and were like, oh, this is Chicago. We'll just do Chicago things. And just started blasting away at the cops. Nobody got hit. The guys, I don't think they got hit, and no cops got hit. But they instantly, the police, they ran. They instantly caught 2 of these guys. Well, the gentleman who was in the elevator with me was the 3rd guy that got away and so happened to come up to my floor. And so my building is under construction. So there are multiple units within my building that don't have anyone in them. So what he must have done was follow me to my house. He probably didn't... People were afraid that this guy like had come in here and like kidnap me or something. I guarantee you he looked at me and thought that was probably not the greatest idea. So what he did was like checked all the handles to all the doors, because there's a bunch of there's houses here that don't even have door handles because there's nothing inside of them. They're being renovated. So he probably just went from door to door to door, and he so happened to go to my next door neighbor, who's not, I mean, it's not a neighbor, but the room across the hall. So that's where he was. And now it's like an hour or so that's gone by. And now I can hear outside, a lot of commotion. And they're banging on the doors, individually. And I thought it might have been the police, just like, looking for this dude, because I could see their squad cars downstairs. It turns out it was an entire SWAT team. It was 15 guys, and they bang on my door, and they're like, open it, and they're yelling. It was so crazy because like I was armed at the time, just for personal protection, but I didn't want to get wrapped. You see stuff on the news, you don't want to get wrapped up, and that's what I'm sure a lot of people were afraid of. Was like, what the heck? I didn't want to get shot today. Right. There was a lot of instances today where I could have been shot. Luckily, not shot, so that's all good. But I opened the door very slowly, and these, keep in mind, these guys were yelling at me through the door. As soon as I opened the door, instantly, this guy went from screaming at me to like, oh, hi, how you doing? Very nice. The SWAT guys were super cool. I don't know why. The first thing I could think of to say to these guys when I saw them was, oh my God, you guys look so cool. They were totally decked out. They had their helmets and like goggles and freaking ARs. They looked like Counter-Strike. They looked like the video game Counter-Strike. It was incredible. That part was, but they were super nice. They were just like, you know what, just stay inside for a little bit. We're gonna figure this out. Just please, keep your doors locked, all that kind of stuff. So that was cool. And they
did find the guy and apprehend him, yeah?
They did. So about 15 or 20 minutes after that, we heard them kick the door in next door, and that was very loud. So they must have checked there. He's probably hiding in a closet or something like that. So they got him out of there. But then it was about 2 hours to till the whole thing was done. After that, I didn't know that they had captured him, And funny enough, I called the police non-emergency to see if I could leave. And the lady, she's like, yeah, go for it. Go ahead and leave. And this was before they caught him. So I could have walked out. This was before they knocked on my door. So I could have walked out there and gotten blasted. Mm-hmm. Thanks, police non-emergency. Anyway, it got all wrapped up. Everything like calmed down. I actually saw my buddy who I went to high school with, and we were in karate together. He's a detective. We ended up running into each other in the hallway, so that was kind of funny. So I leave to run my errands. I go to pick up my girlfriend's anniversary gift, and I'm on my way back. And I go to see her at her work, and pick up the laundry that I dropped off in the morning. On the way to see her, I get stuck in another police standoff where a man decided to take a woman hostage, and now...
At the 7-Eleven?
No. But it was at a liquor store. It started at a liquor store, I should say. It moved from liquor store to an apartment complex. Not mine, but another one. So, yeah, 2 active shootings in one day. Escaped both. The second one, I was kind of just stuck, like, right next to it in traffic. I just couldn't move. They shut down the main road that runs through my town. They completely shut it down, so you couldn't drive on it at all. And they brought tanks out. They brought AMRAPs out. They had sorry, I just heard something. Now I'm like all shifty.
Little jumpy.
But yeah, it was just a long day of like tense. And I just, I got up early, so I chugged all this coffee. So my heart was like pounding.
Already
and
there.
Then now I've got guns to deal with. I'm like loading ammo. I've got the SWAT team with ARs outside. Like it was just, and then I go to pick up the diamonds, not realizing there's like, thieves and thinking like there's guys with guns running around right now. So I'm driving back home through this like war zone where there's people running around with, guns and I have like $10,000 worth of diamonds in my car.
Right.
It was just like the movie Snatch. If you've ever seen Snatch, this was exactly like that. This was my day today. It was so high action, like so high intensity. I'm glad it's over. It was kind of fun, but I'm glad it's over, and it made for an interesting day.
Yeah, to put it mildly there. I do remember seeing the movie Snatch, and outside of the movie as well many times throughout my life, but that movie is that an English film?
Yeah. And it's so funny too. I just watched it like 2 days ago.
Wow. Yeah. That's a classic. That's a classic. Just so wild, man. I'm just super glad you're safe. Super glad you're okay. Because I know you're preoccupied. Didn't hear from you for a bit when I was texting with you back and forth, and I know that you were armed and ready to go just in case. And so just glad you're all right. Let's see, what's a few things I wanted to tackle in the chat here. Upshot is back. What do you guys think about it? We don't think about it, frankly, but he's free to do what he wants, and wish him the best. But other than that, Connolly asks, I'm running a full updated node 24 hours, 24/7. Are you supposed to periodically restart or something, or just let it run continuously as much as possible? So I'm running a node 2, just on a separate computer. I don't really do anything with anyway. You can run it on your main computer too. It kind of doesn't take up too much CPU. It just runs in the background if you want. But I usually give it a rest a couple hours a day. About 1.5 to 2 hours a day. I usually shut it down. It's up to you, but that's what I do. That's what I do.
Inevitably, you're gonna have to shut it down for updates and stuff anyway. So
right.
It's not like you don't have to run it 24/7. Real quick, Kyle asked me this in the chat. Dune. Am I going to see it this weekend? Unfortunately, my grandma is coming out this Sunday, so I won't be here on Sunday. Maybe, I don't know, Saturday probably, but not Sunday. However, next Sunday, I have rented out an IMAX for me and my girlfriend to go see Dune together.
That's so baller.
I will not be bothered. No one call me. Don't text me. I will not be tweeting. I will be watching Dune by myself with my girlfriend in our theater that I rented next Sunday. So that is the plan. I might bring my brother too if he's not working.
Nick, you rented out an entire IMAX for you and your girlfriend to watch the new Dune?
It's not that expensive.
Wow.
AMC is like you can rent out an entire theater.
Wow. That's pretty baller, man. Good for you.
I'm a Dune fanatic.
And
so,
to watch it on IMAX, that's wild.
There's no other way. That's how the movie was supposed to be. That's how it was supposed to be seen. As soon as I had that option to do that, and I knew that I wasn't going to be able to do it opening weekend just because with my grandma coming and everything, I was like, all right, perfect. Next weekend, we're going to go.
Yeah, some of the IMAX theaters even have that super wraparound screen. You know what I'm talking about?
It is, yeah.
Is that like the kind it is? Oh, those are the best. Jacob Arbs, if I'm pronouncing your last name right, it's either Arbs or Arby's, but I assume it's probably Arbs. I assume it's Arbs. It's like he hasn't heard that before, right? So thank you for your $1 super chat. He asks, Dogex, haven't heard anything yet. Why is it so slow on Dogex? Well, things are moving.
About it.
Yeah. Things in terms of Dogex, the NFT project, things are moving along. The metaverse is getting ready to just crank up and release in phases. The metaverse developer, he works on this stuff about on an average of 15 hours a day, just enough to sleep and shower and stuff. So sometimes if you don't hear from him for a few days, that's why. Or he's catching up on like a couple days sleep after just doing development benders. I'm going to be in touch with the having an extensive talk that we periodically, semi-regularly do about all these things with the metaverse developer. Matt Wallace and I have been talking to. We're also going to be doing another Doge X Twitter space soon between the developer, myself, and him. And so we will be laying out some very clear markers on the next phase going forward between the metaverse and the puppies that'll be airdropped to Doge X holders, etc. So just take a deep breath. This is the way this project is structured. It's long term. We're not going anywhere. It's very strategically plotted growth. So I'm going to be a long-term holder on my NFTs in that project personally, and I do think that it's has a high probability of setting the stage for some real nice return on investment there. What else? Thank you so much. You're welcome, Jacob. No worries. So yeah, Doge puppies are coming in. Since the super chat came up about Doge X, I guess I'll extrapolate a little bit on NFTs here. Now, what's happening with Jungle Freaks today, that's kind of dominating the NFT news cycle right now, okay? Jungle Freaks, the trading volume right now is astronomical. It's flying a mile a minute and has been doing so for the last 24 hours straight, particularly. Now, right now, it is approaching a 2 ETH floor, okay? Right now, it's at 1.795 ETH floor, which is really extraordinary. There's almost 6,000 different holders on a 10K run. The volume traded is incredibly high. Now, those of you who are members, not to pitch membership again here, but those of you who are members recall me talking about this project. I told you exactly what I was going to do and when I was going to do it in terms of and why I was going to do it in relation to Jungle Freaks, okay? So I tried to mince several Jungle Freaks, but it was so crowded in there that all my transactions failed. But I kept a very close eye on that floor with Jungle Freaks, and I ended up investing in two of them. And it was no small change for me. It really wasn't. But I did see this as a really worthy investment, in my opinion. Now, this is going to also tie into Doge X in a minute here, guys. So some of the markers that I look for, and I go much more deeper into this in the members only streams. So what attracted me to Jungle Freaks before weeks before it even came out, minted? Well, the artwork. It's all hand drawn. Each piece is very individualistic with a lot of different traits, quirky traits. It has that old school 80s brash, scrappy, classic comic book animations style.
You know
right?
what it reminds me of, Steven?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the show Super Jail?
I haven't seen Super Jail.
It was on cartoon. It was on Adult Swim. We keep going back to Adult Swim.
Yeah.
It looks just like Super Jail. In fact, this guy who works on it might in fact be one of the guys who worked, because there was a team of like hundreds of people who worked on that show. Super Jail was insane.
I'm looking it up right now.
The art on that show was insane. One of the craziest art styles I've ever seen in my life. And this looks, as soon as I saw this, I was like, what does this remind me of? Why is it so familiar? Looks just like Super Jail and very like, but kind of cooler. Whoever did this did a really good job.
Yeah, I can see the how the reference is applicable there. I have some Super Jail imaging up right now. So again, guys, the reason why I invested into Jungle Freaks is this: all hand drawn, all with a lot of character and originality, and each piece being very unique and individual. Also, it's a father-son team, and the father is a veteran artist for the last 40 years or so, the main cartoonist for Hustler magazine. So this guy's kind of a legend and has a veteran artist with a very classic, cool style. And the son is running the NFT, the technological aspect of it. And I just thought that was a super unique story. It's really compelling and cool. Now, many of the same markers that I see in Jungle Freaks, I see in Doge X, and also another reason what originally drew me to Doge X is the artwork again on Doge X. It's kind of scrappy, like it's not perfect, and it's a little bit gritty, and it has a lot of warm hand-drawn kind of animation quality to it. Now, this may sound like a fairly typical thing, but in the NFT world right now, it's not. Most of the NFT world is jammed full of projects that are hyper digitized in terms of, and hyper clean and slick looking in terms of its design, in terms of its artwork. Another trend too that occupies, I'm sure anyone that's even kind of been paying attention to the NFT scene has been able to recognize, is you'll get a lot of these big collections and it'll just be like a template of one character in the same position, and then just like a bunch of color and outfit changes over and over on that same one character. Now, I'm not dissing those projects. I'm not saying money can't be made in those projects, but to me, I'm not attracted to those projects. Those are a dime a dozen to me. I'm not generally attracted to those projects. And can there be some short-term great gains in those projects? Absolutely. Do I think most of those kind of projects with that kind of artistic template are going to go the distance? I don't think so. I personally don't think so. I think, so a lot of the common denominators and threads, aesthetically and kind of personality-wise and charming-wise, and team-wise, the team in Doge X also is super involved and entrenched and always working around the clock on stuff behind the scenes. I've noticed a particular level of relentlessness with Jungle Freaks too, just round the clock all the time, right? So I think for me, some of the key markers for super successful NFT projects are a dedicated team, dedicated people running things behind the scenes, artwork that is unique and a little bit scrappy and has personality to it. And also, Doge X has a ton of different unique traits that you don't typically see in hardly any NFT lines. And Jungle Freaks has that going for it as well. So I see a lot of parallels here. I see Doge X is obviously a more of a slow growth project. Jungle Freaks also had the advantage of people like Alex Becker, right, coming in and saying, "Oh, this looks like an obvious blue chip project to me, guys. This is wild." So obviously, statements like that are going to really help put it in hyper overdrive. But to give you some perspective, yesterday the floor on Jungle Freaks was about 0.94, and about 24 hours ago from right now, and now it's 1.795. We're going on 1.8 ETH on a floor investment. Now, those of you who would be able to afford an investment like that may be asking yourselves, should I ape in on a project like that at 1.8 ETH? That's a more difficult question at this stage in the game, right? You're going to have to ask that for yourself. What I can tell you is everything that I've seen thus far, to me, shows pretty high probability of it being a blue chip project. It just has a lot of the markers there. So with that in mind, you got to ask yourself. I mean, I missed mint too, so I didn't accumulate my my Jungle Freaks at mint price either, and I'm a working class guy, so these were significant investments for me, right? And I still proceeded. So put it that way. That's what I did. And those of you who are members heard me talk about this in real time. I hope a couple of you at least have considered it and maybe followed suit, because you're already looking at some pretty nice gains here. So yeah, thank you for listening, Nick, through my NFT tangent there.
It's all good. You know what? I was just, while you were doing that, I was actually just kind of scrolling through the collection myself.
Yeah.
And I will have to say, as an artist, I went to art school. Somebody who does recognize good art when I see it. I have an interesting feeling about this project. And I know earlier, before the show, I was asking you, like, what are you going to do with these? And I said, don't miss, make sure you just hit the shot or whatever.
Right.
Maybe hang on to these.
Yeah.
I would hang on to these.
Yeah.
Sure.
I personally don't plan on selling anytime soon. It's just got that vibe, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's got a vibe.
It's just got a vibe.
It definitely does.
Yeah.
It does. It reminds me, like I said, it gives me, I used to love that show, Super Jail, back when I was, a teenager. And it reminds me of that, and it's a very, very unique, like you said, it's not a copy and pasted kind of thing. Each of these characters has their own kind of like individual groove to them. Mm-hmm. I was looking at a few that I really liked. So, I'm, personally, and this is just me, I'm waiting until my next, I'm waiting for Doge to push up to its next level before I start making crazy art investments. I also want to have, I need to get out of my bullet-ridden condo and actually move into a real house, so I can start displaying. Because I've got my art up on the walls and shit.
Yeah.
But I need a place to be able to display. If I have NFTs, I'm gonna get a television that will circle through the ones that I have. So it'll constantly be changing. Through my NFT collection.
Yeah. I can understand why the timing on which you want to involve yourself in that space. Yeah, definitely. And when you mentioned that you're kind of waiting for Doge X to go up too, well, also something to consider, not only to Nick but perhaps others as well. But that's one good thing about a project like Doge X, for example, where all this groundwork and metaverse is being established right now. So the next time Dogecoin really ramps up and takes off, right? I think a project like Doge X that's so closely walking along the side of Dogecoin, I think it will have a very positive effect on spilling over into the interest on a project like that. So, and plus, out of the few different kind of Doge-centric NFT lines out there, Dogex is the one that's really stepped out and is like, even talks about Dogecoin. Like, we're rooting for Dogecoin. We're Dogecoin holders. We're trying to figure out different innovative ways within our metaverse to expand Dogecoin's utility in the NFT space. I don't see the other projects really doing that. That was another thing when I was talking with these guys before I involved myself with it, that they were talking to me about, which was one of the main things that really got me interested in it, you know? So while we've been talking there, look at those green candles, buddy.
Check out Solana right now.
Let's check out Solana.
Solana is balling right now.
I have like $100 in Solana, so let me check out my $100.
Maybe you got two now.
I don't know. Yeah, a little bit of a bump there. Some gas money. But yeah, it's I think Solana's just starting to approach I don't think it's even at its ATA right now, because it really went kind of parabolic there about a month and a half ago, I think.
Right now it's about 8% off its all-time high.
Nick, you were a former art school student. What sort of art did you do, and what sort of art did you make and involve yourself with?
So, I had kind of two different styles. I'm going to try and pull one of them up right now so you guys can see. In the beginning, I was studying like 16th century Renaissance painters. I was recreating. So here's one I did. This is hilarious because this actually. Hold on, if I can. I guess it's not going to do it. Let me see if my camera will get that. Probably not. It's probably too bright. But I repainted. It's not gonna focus. Oh, there we go.
That's a piece of yours?
Yep, and it's hanging up in my dad's house right now. It's a complete reproduction of a Caravaggio to life size.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so that one, I'm actually going to text it to you right now because maybe you can see it better than me. But I painted that as the painter. I used to paint these Italian Renaissance paintings as the painter would have painted them, however many years ago. So I would build the wood, the wooden canvas. I would build it, and that would take a month or two, and then I would make the canvas, and then I would like stretch it. I did everything just how they did it.
Yeah.
That one painting I just showed you took 2 years, which is the exact same amount of time it took the original guy to paint it. So, if I can find it, I can't find it on my phone. Anywho, I did.
You painted that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then let me see if I can. I'll show you. I'll see if I can get the other style of painting I did here. The other style that I did was kind of more of contemporary. And what I would do was I would take wallpaper. This was all done in oil paint. So I would take wallpaper paint, and then layer these patterns, and then I would take famous people's portraits and paint their portraits over the pattern. So here, I'm going to turn my webcam and see if I can get this. So there's one of it's really dark over there, so you can probably only see the one that you're seeing that's like kind of pink and blue is a famous writer whose name is Aldous Huxley, and then the other one is really dark. Okay, so that's Aldous Huxley in one, and the other one is Lane Staley from Alice in Chains. That one's a little dark right now. So, yeah. So I would do a lot of like kind of like portraits, but with patterns and kind of weird, trippy stuff. And I would do. You can't really because the lighting's shitty over there, but it's like a portrait over a portrait. And then it's like wallpaper over wallpaper. So it was just like when you look at it, you're like, whoa, it feels like you're on acid or something.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Thanks for sharing those pieces with us. That's awesome, man. I have no proclivity to painting or drawing or anything like that. I'm also a fan of it kind of reminded me some of the stuff yours that you're showing me there. It kind of reminds me of, I love how it's been going on for a few years now. Some artists kind of mixing up Renaissance aesthetics and classic Greek sculpture and art aesthetics, and
I love that.
Getting like really glitching them up, and things like, and adding some.
Who's that one guy on? I see him on. People repost him on Twitter all the time. Might not be a guy, but it's like an account. I can't think of the name of the dude. But he does that. Like, it's like old stuff, like glitched with like newer stuff. It's really cool.
Yeah,
Name that guy.
Yeah, it takes a lot of classic European art and Renaissance era stuff, and classic, kind of the apex of Greek art era kind of stuff, and mixes it up with glitchy futurism kind of stuff, So I think those two combinations are something about those two combinations to me are very, I don't know, just very, very attention grabbing, very cool looking. So awesome, man. That's great, man. Yeah, I mean, you're really kind of an anomaly. I mean, you don't regularly meet guys that are fitness trainers and bodybuilders that also went through art school and that are also painters and this sort of thing, and then also are retired millionaires by their 33 years old. So this is plus you used to be friends with the original Anonymous guys, and it's just a pretty
my life has
pretty eclectic background.
I wish someday somebody, please, maybe I'll help fund it. Somebody needs to make like a Forrest Gump about me someday, because my life has been ridiculous. Like, some of the stuff that happens, like today, it's like, how do I get stuck in, like, it just baffles me. From day to day, I'm always amazed by the oddities that just work their way into my life. And if you ask my girlfriend, she'll tell you, like like these like weird stuff and weird people and weird like occurrences just find their way to me somehow. I don't know if I'm like attracting that kind of energy or what, but I'm glad, because it keeps things interesting, but sometimes it's a little scary.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just glad you're safe, man. I'm going to pull up this story by FX Street, because this is another one that I wanted to touch on before letting you go. Probably the last thing we'll be able to touch on before letting you go, because I did have this in the thumbnail. But the title of this article, and I want your thoughts on it, Nick. Dogecoin set to make a comeback as king of meme coins. Leading meme coin, Doge has a market capitalization of $33 billion and ranks top 10 cryptocurrency. While several spin-offs hit cryptocurrency exchanges, they have failed to dethrone Doge on the on-chain activity market cap. Interestingly, Vitalik Buterin, creator of Ethereum, sold $2 million in dog-themed cryptocurrencies. Buterin is on the board of advisors now for the Dogecoin Foundation, and the Ethereum creator did not sell Doge in his latest activity on decentralized exchanges. Though Shiba Inu set out to dethrone Doge and is widely popular as the Dogecoin killer, SHIB's price recently plunged, and the token is struggling to maintain its position in the top 15. Dogecoin holders are waiting for Robinhood to launch the meme coins wallets. Doge proponent trader Doge Whisperer believes that the wallet launch will boost the meme's utility. Now, FX Street Analysis have evaluated Doge's price and predicted that the network's activity suggests a massive breakout is currently underway and is ready to get underway. So what do you say about this, Nick? I think it's kind of no super details on this article, but at the same time, it's an interesting statement. It's a provocative one. I'll give you my 2 cents on it. Given what we're seeing right now within the we are still within the margins of healthy retracement in terms of Bitcoin and Ethereum go. Dogecoin has been doing just fine, but it didn't peak out quite as well. It didn't pump up quite as well as Bitcoin or Ethereum. Again, as we've seen the cycle over and over again, it would suggest that we are about 24 hours away from Dogecoin getting its legs and doing its Doge dance all on its own again and running up the score. What do you say?
I would tend to agree. I mean, I don't think that we're going to see a massive bull run tomorrow.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. But that's, I just feel like I think people are ready. I think people have been waiting for this, for a bit now. And clearly, if you look at just sheer on-chain analytics from that perspective, there has been so much Dogecoin accumulated in the past month. Not even the past 2 or 3 weeks. There has been a massive amount of Dogecoin that's been bought. Brand new wallets with billions have been created that are not moving. They're just they're not exchange wallets. They're individuals. So I'm expecting a large move here pretty soon. I don't think it'll be tomorrow or the next day, but there is a, like we talked about in the earlier show, there's a massive wedge that has been formed, and yeah, I mean, I predict there will be a breakout. I can't say how soon it's going to happen. I personally have it targeted for the beginning of November, but that's just where the wedge pattern forms. So
right.
I think we'll see some sort of movement there. I just sent you that picture of the painting I did, by the way.
Oh, okay.
It took me that long to find it. And you can
Oh, it's very cool, Nick.
And it's life size.
Wow.
It's 56 inches by 76 inches.
You painted this?
Yeah, it's in my dad's house right now. It's hanging up in my dad's living room.
You are really gifted, man, that you painted that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
It's nutty. It took 2 years.
I don't know if you guys...
It looks better on yours than it did on mine. It's a girl ripping a dude's head off.
I see that.
I thought it was when I saw it at the Art Institute for the first time. I think I was probably maybe 13 or 14.
Yeah.
And I went to the Art Institute and I saw that in real life and I was like, oh my God. I was like, this is first off, I need to learn how he did this. So I spent a year learning the story. First, before I ever even started painting that painting, I just learned the story of the guy, how he lived his life, who he was, how he thought about painting, some of the techniques that he used, the trials and tribulations he went through in his life. I kind of became him. And then I started building that frame. And it wasn't you couldn't buy a frame like that. You had to build it. And it got to the point where the canvas was I finally stretched it over. The canvas was so taut that it was starting to break the frame. So I had to call in my buddy's dad, who was a professional carpenter, to help me fix these little we had to put in these plastic pieces to open the frame up a bit because I just over tightened it. It was such a crazy process, but it took me 2 years to paint that, and I think I lost my mind probably 4 or 5 times in the whole thing.
Wow!
But we did it.
And it took you 2 years to paint. It took you about 1 year to frame.
Well, yeah. No, the frame I think I built the frame in probably a month or 2.
Okay.
And then I had to get the canvas made, and it was an undertaking. I mean, it was that one painting is probably what I would consider my life's work in painting. And you can line it up to the artist who originally painted it. His name is Caravaggio. Mm-hmm. You can line it up to a Caravaggio, and obviously there's I'm not Caravaggio. We don't have the same hand, so there's unique characteristics of my painting that weren't in his, and some that are in mine that are not in his, but you can put them side by side. They're the exact same size. And I even went out, I gave myself lead poisoning making that painting, because he used what is known as lead white, which is an extremely toxic form of lead. I mean, it is lead white. It's lead. It's lead paint. And so I gave myself lead poisoning painting that painting.
I mean, there are a lot of gray tones in there. It looks about right. That is wild. So that took you an entire year.
2 years.
Oh, 2 years. That's right.
Yeah, from start to finish, it took 2 years. First month or two was just making the frame for it, and then it was just like slow going after that, and it was not like there was times where I gave up and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I would go on these benders where I'd paint for like a month or two, and then I'd stop painting for like 3 or 4 weeks, and then I'd start it back. I was living like Caravaggio was. I was like, that was in the middle of like college. I was getting drunk all the time. I was around all these girls. My life was just a mess. And so was his at the time. So
there you go.
It worked out perfect.
There you go. You guys were working through the same spirit. Yeah, that's wild, man, and very impressive. Very impressive. Listen, why don't we make this one a little bit shorter tonight, because I know you've had a long day and you want to get some rest.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. And I don't want to burn you. But guys, don't worry. In just a little bit, I will be going live for the members only stream. I'm going to put the members only stream link in the chat right now. So just give me a moment while I do that.
Ooh, Kyle got to see a Da Vinci. Ooh.
Wow.
Jealous.
So I
plan to go to Rome. I got to go look at like actual Italian art at some point.
Yeah, I've been there. I've seen the ruins of Rome and everything else. I found remarkably inspiring. So guys, members, I will see you over at the link pinned in the chat. I'm going to pin it at the top too, you guys, so you can click on it. And if you're not a member, in the voice of our friend Matt Wallace, what you doing? What you doing? So consider becoming a member. It's a great way to support the channel and get a lot of value and content, extra content out of it. It's just $4 a month. That's $1 a week. That's entry level. There's 3 different tiers of membership. You just press join underneath the video. That's how you become a member and get access to the live stream we are breaking out and going to over right now. So if you're not currently a member, we'd love to see you over there. Anyway, I appreciate everyone tuning in. Nick, thank you for squeezing this one out in light of your crazy day today and sharing it with us. And I hope you guys got something out of the show. I hope you had fun. And let's just keep doing it to it. And you know me, we'll be back again tomorrow night, same bat time, same bat channel. Everyone, non-members, we'll see you next time. Members,
stay away from arms.
Stay from what?
Armed robbers. Stay away from them.
It's generally a good rule of thumb. And members, I will see you guys over at that link just a moment in a few minutes after we shut down here. Thank you guys. This is Steven Steele and Nick Balls signing out.